Welcome to Peri-Pigs, the podcast where two perimenopausal besties, Veronica Pig and Penelope Pig, survive hot flushes, brain fog and midlife mayhem together, one oink at a time.
So if you've laughed, cried or screamed at absolutely nothing this week, you're in the right sty. Let's oink about it. Welcome. So, how has your week been? So, have you slept or have you not slept?
I've slept, obviously. There's no such thing as not sleeping at all. For me, whether anybody else doesn't sleep at all, I don't know. So, I've had a really ropey week of sleep. It all started on Sunday. The doom set in. And what I mean by that is not the Sunday night doom of having any knowledgeable fears of the week coming. The doom is in that week of your month where something's happening in my body that isn't going to allow me to sleep properly because my hormones have shifted. So I went to bed on Sunday. I was tired. I fell asleep really well. We'd had a late night Saturday and I woke up in the middle of the night freezing. But the reason I was freezing is because I was out of my duvet in my soaking wet pyjamas.
Oh dear, the night sweats hit.
The night sweats. And I always used to say to people, oh, the night sweats. No, do you know what? That's quite a common perimenopause or menopause symptom. It's not something that I've ever really suffered with in sort of the 4 or 5 years where I've been in this perimenopausal place. But they come along now.
Did they not wake you up then? Because when I get it, it's like this massive wave that comes
no,
out. That bit wakes me up.
I don't get that wave.
So you just wake up soaking wet?
I wake up soaking wet. I've obviously kicked my duvet off. My pyjamas are wet. And so then I'm cold.
Yeah.
And that's how I've woken up because wee woman, my other persona, Penelope, I don't like being cold, as you know.
You do not like being cold.
I do not like being cold. So that's
already going to wake you up in a shitty state of mind.
That's the bit that's woken me up, that you're cold. And then there's the what to do about it. So then it's like, well, now I'm awake, and obviously instantly you're awake, then you need to go to the toilet. So then
every time.
So then I have to have that battle of, so now I've got to get out and go to the toilet in the cold, because it's that time of year where your house is freezing because your heating went off like 4 hours, 5 hours ago, and then trottle on down to the toilet. Soak it, and then it's, do I change my pyjamas? Do I just leave them on? I don't want to wake myself up anymore because all I want to do at this point is go toilet, get back into my bed, cover myself up, and please just let me go back to sleep.
It's like the trying to keep your eyes half closed, not put the lights on.
I don't put the light on to go to the toilet in the night. Do you put the light on?
No.
Do you flush the toilet?
No.
Or not with that macerator?
No, exactly.
Oh, no.
Exactly, wake the whole street up. No, I use the light of my phone, like a bit like moonlight.
Okay, I don't even do that. I just rely on feeling my way around.
So you go blind and then feel your way around.
Feel my way around.
That's brave.
It has to be done.
All sorts of hazards that could happen there.
I think I've naturally got a little bit of light on my landing from like outside. So to me, it's not pitch black. So I can make my way safely to the bathroom without putting the light on, to go to the toilet, to kind of scuttle back and get back into bed in the hope in that like 2-minute scenario, maybe my brain doesn't wake up enough to start going, oh, Willow, what can we ever think about now then?
Yeah, what can we worry about?
What can we worry about?
What can we get angry about?
Who can we blame?
What can I think about from 20 years ago that doesn't matter? That's my one. I will think about, so it will be even something like something that's happened as a child at school or something like that. And then I relive it all over again at 3 o'clock in the morning. And I even tell myself going, this isn't like, this does not affect your life whatsoever. No, I'm going back into that thought, that argument, that misjustice of something that's happened. Crazy. That's not always happened. That is hormone related for me, where you start thinking about all this random stuff in the past. I know other people have said this as well, that happens. Anyway, sorry.
No.
You woke up soaking wet. You've gone for your wee. You're freezing cold. You're in the pitch black, back in the pitch black bedroom.
We're back in the bed.
Back in the bed. You didn't change your pyjamas?
I didn't change my pyjamas.
You've gone damp.
I couldn't be bothered.
Yeah, you've gone
I was
moist.
tired. I didn't want to do anything else to wake myself up any further because at this point, this was Sunday. Can't tell you what time this was. I reckon it was about 2:00 in the morning. So we were still very much in that middle of the night place because you've got that. It's still only just bedtime, waking up at like 11 till 1. You've then got that. It's still the middle of the night, maybe like 1 till 3. And then you've got that, well, it's morning now, so do I even bother going back to sleep? What's the point?
Yeah.
So I was in the whole, no, you have to go back to sleep at this point because I knew that my alarm was probably going to be going off between 5:30 and 6. I needed to get up that next morning and I needed to drive an hour and a half to work. It was a commute on the Monday to go and do, present at an event.
Oh, horrid.
So this was, I need sleep. I can't do this without my sleep. So I, from what I can recollect, because of course that was 6 days ago, and don't ask me to remember what happened 6 days ago. I think I did go back to sleep in my wet pajamas. But then I do believe I then probably woke up at like 5 a.m. But I was quite glad to wake up at 5 a.m. because I was like, do you know what? Now at least I can have a shower and wash my hair before I have to get ready for work because there's no way I couldn't have got up and showered that morning.
Yeah.
So that was Sunday. And then it's been pretty ropey ever since Sunday. I think I've gone to sleep, but I don't think I think I've been woken up at like 4:30 every morning probably this week. And each morning that I've been woken at that time, I just think there's no point me lying here trying to force the sleep back on myself. The cats are meowing and pawing at me at this point.
Is that what's waking you up then? Is it the, so that was obviously the night sweats, but the rest of the time, is it the cats?
I think it's
or the husband.
Cats. It can be the husband, it can be the cats. I obviously sleep really, really light. So something I feel that maybe wouldn't have woken me up 5 years ago wakes me up now. I don't feel like I'm ever in a deep, restful sleep, or certainly not this week of my life. Next week could be a completely different story.
Yeah.
And I could go to bed and I could fall asleep at 9:30 and sleep all the way till 6 o'clock. It just, like you said, I think it depends on where you're at.
I feel like it's like it's hormone levels and stuff like that, but it's also sheer exhaustion sometimes. We were saying earlier, weren't we? Like, I cannot survive on 5 hours sleep a night. I can't do it. You know, they do say, I think it's meant to be like 8 hours for women. Men, it's actually slightly less, but we do need our sleep. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of healing and stuff that goes on when you sleep, doesn't it? And
your body at rest is one of the most important times for your body because that's the time that you repair. That's the time that you heal.
And this is the sort of stuff you'll be thinking about when you're lying there awake. That's what I do. So it's all those things going, okay, so like it's not just not having the sleep, it's everything else that goes with it. You know you're going to feel rubbish. You know your day's over the next day. You're not going to function properly. Oh, it's a nightmare, isn't it? Isn't it a nightmare?
It is, because you instantly start thinking about, well, how am I going to cope if I don't go back to sleep but then putting that pressure on yourself to go back to sleep, you then don't go back to sleep.
It's horrendous. So what do you do, or what are you like the next day then? So you've had that, so that Monday, for instance, you've had that terrible, terrible sleep, you had to do the commute, you got to work.
I was actually okay this time. I think because we'd had a late night Saturday, I was tired and I went to bed quite early on the Sunday. So obviously from going to bed quite early, I'd racked up, and I think I had a nap on Sunday afternoon as well.
Nice.
I had that nap. We'd had a few drinks Saturday night for Valentine's. We were tired. So I had a bit of a nap Sunday. Then I slept okay-ish up until that point.
I've just realised the severity of what I just said there. You said you had a nap, and I was like, oh, nice.
Yeah. We're in the nap zone.
We're in the nap zone of life then, right?
We are in the nap zone.
Where that's actually where I'm admiring you for having a nap on a Sunday.
You suggested that I had a nap in my lunch break.
I did. Yeah.
Which I was like, sorry.
Give yourself a little treat.
Give yourself a little treat. Have a nap in your lunch break. Again, the pressure to nap. In my response to you was, I can't pressure nap in a window of napping. For me, a nap is, I'm not intending to nap. I'm watching something on the TV and the next minute the credits are going and I've slept through the whole entire thing.
I admire that because I have a massive FOMO about napping. If I nap, I wake up and I'm in the worst mood. I feel like I've missed out on a whole lifetime. I feel like the world has had a massive festival that I've missed. It's horrendous. I cannot do it.
I used
and
to
I
be
need
like
to.
that.
I really probably should put myself down for a nap. But I mean,
Well, do you know what? And I think
I
that's
can't
the
do
thing.
it.
I can't put myself down for a nap. So if I happen to be on a weekend day where we've got no plans, husband and I, we will sit on the sofa, we'll put a film on, put something on TV, and if I happen to fall asleep, I fall asleep. But if someone says to me, you maybe need to go for a nap, or I think, I slept really terribly last night and we're going like out tonight, Saturday night, we're going to go out, I'd think, right, I really need to go and have a sleep today to give myself the energy. But if I go and put myself to bed, I can't sleep.
Yeah.
Because your husband puts himself to bed, doesn't he?
Yes.
He takes himself up to bed.
Every Friday he'll do that. Every Friday afternoon.
So
I
jealous.
know.
Whereas mine, now and again he'll put himself to bed, but if not, he will strategically place himself in a particular position on the sofa because he has decided I'm going to sleep.
Yeah.
I don't decide I'm going to sleep. I just let it happen if it happens.
Do you ever get resentful of how easily he can sleep?
Yeah, I hate him.
Yeah.
Yeah, very much so. Do you?
Oh, hell yes. Absolutely. I've always felt like I fall asleep quite quickly. That was always my skill, is that at bedtime I could fall asleep very quickly. But I can't do that now. Again, it really depends. Sometimes I'll be up for hours and I'm wired. God forbid I don't have a decaf coffee and I had a full caf coffee after 4 o'clock or something like that. I mean, that's how wild things can get sometimes.
Wow.
But yeah, no, my picky husband can sleep, and it's that thing, isn't it? When you're lying there in the middle of the night, you've woken up and your mind is whirring, and they're just so at peace, squealing.
I was about to say, they're not
snoring.
at peace, though, are they? They're deep in a sleep, but it's not peaceful. It certainly isn't peaceful for us. And that, I don't know about you, one thing that I've hugely noticed, I think it's to do with perimenopause, not other ailments that I've got, other medical conditions, but this kind of, I definitely have that noise sensitivity thing. So whereas in the past, I could cope with the snoring kind of to a degree. I'd sleep through it. Once I was asleep, it'd be fine. Now, one grunt and it's game over.
Yeah.
Like, I home into it, I can't cope with it. And as a result of that, we sleep separately quite a lot now because literally for my sanity
It's
and
the
for
only
our marriage,
option, right?
we absolutely have to. You're better than me. You're really trying to ride through it, although I think sometimes that's at the detriment of you get even less sleep than I, because you are determined to not get to yourselves at that point, aren't you?
Yeah.
I don't love it, but it's the best thing right now because I cannot function. I feel like I've got a hangover if I don't have my sleep.
Yeah.
And I'm not asking for much.
No, you're
I'm
not.
not asking for 10 hours
You're
of
not.
undisturbed sleep. I'm like asking for maybe 7 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
Just to function.
Look, we're all with you on this one because I think it's a universal thing with the Peri-Pigs, is that we just do not get enough sleep. It's horrendous. It is awful. So do you feel when you, like, next day, or if you've had a bad week of it, what's your symptoms of that? So you said you feel a bit hungover, symptom-like. Do you get really bad anxiety?
My anxiety hits the roof because I then start overthinking about all the things I've got to do that I just can't get them done because I can't focus for more than about 15 minutes. I used to be a really focused person. Like, I could sit down and I could really do a big piece of work. I could get things done. I'm a very organised person.
You certainly are, yeah.
I really struggle now to focus. So I can lose my focus really, really easily. Today was quite a funny example. So I put myself on Do Not Disturb because I had some work I wanted to get done and I didn't want anyone calling me, contacting me. And also during that time, it was like, right, I'm not going to respond to any emails. I'm going to just focus on this piece of work for 2 hours. So I started focusing on the piece of work. Then I decided I wanted a cup of coffee. So I went and got a cup of coffee. And by the time I'd gone downstairs and got my coffee and come back to my desk, I forgot that I told myself not to look at my emails. So I started looking at my emails because I can't even remember that I'd put my own rules in place about my emails. Like,
oh, the memory loss.
it's this foggy brain of you've told yourself this is what you're going to do and now you've forgotten your own rule in 5 minutes.
Well, it's amazing that you even brought the coffee cup back up, to be honest, because I would have forgotten that. I would have just left that on no sleep.
So yeah, that's where I can't focus properly on no sleep. I get easily irritable on no sleep. That hungover feeling, it's just...
Food? How are you with that? Does it make you hungry?
I can get more hungry. I think that's going back to that whole, it's 4:30, I'm awake now, what do I do? Do I get up? Do I try and go back to sleep? I'll then be like, oh, I'm a little bit hungry now.
Yeah.
So I think, do you know what? Get up, feed the cats, get yourself a piece of toast and a coffee, and then I'll get back into bed. I'll wait for, this is probably before Good Morning Britain, to be honest with you, so I have to go or whatever's on the TV at that time, and I will do my life admin, because that is, to be fair, the only time I get to myself. So the one perk of being awake that early
Is you can do stuff.
is I have that sort of 2-hour window where, other than the cats who have now been fed and they're out my way, nobody wants me.
Yeah.
Because for every other waking moment of my life, somebody wants something, don't they?
Absolutely.
Somebody wants something.
Yeah.
And I'm a giver. I'm an enabler and I'm a giver.
You are a giver. You're a massive giver.
And I know that boundaries are a problem, because I never want to... If someone else needs me, I want to support someone else, right?
Yeah.
But that is often at my own detriment.
I think this time of life makes you rethink boundaries and stuff. This is a whole nother conversation about boundaries, because we've both been there with relationships and stuff and setting your boundaries. But yeah, definitely, I think if you've not had it, well, going back to sleep-related stuff, if you're in that mode and you can barely think and barely function from not sleeping, then yeah, no one's getting nothing from me. I'm not doing much. I procrastinate a lot. On that note, it's probably the right time to bring in, you've probably noticed the scream on our intro of the Peri-Pigs intro. There's a bit of a wild scream on there. So the story of that was because I'd not slept. So I've got cameras in the house, as you do, and that's for our animals, so that when I work at home, so when I'm working at home, I've got the cameras on downstairs so I can see what my dogs are up to. They're free roamers, they can go anywhere they want, but if they're not with me, I can see what they're up to. Or if we go out or something, we can see them. So the cameras are always rolling, they pick up on motion and stuff. And very much like you, I'd had a very sweaty night, but I'd woken up from the hot flush and I'd had my lovely Christmas, fluffy, lovely warm pyjamas on, but obviously pointless because I woke up absolutely soaking wet. So all I could do at that point was get out of bed, stand up, pull my trousers down, leave them on the floor, climb back into bed. So I'd already had the hot flush. Then the dogs woke me up. So occasionally they'll wake you up if they need to go to the toilet in the middle of the night, which is annoying, but you know, it's a bodily function, isn't it? Sometimes we all need to get up and have a wee or whatever. So they'd woken me up. I'd come down and, you know, being winter, the garden is very muddy from them. So I'd stayed awake longer. I couldn't do like the closed eye, go to the toilet thing, keep the lights off. You have to come down, you have to get the lights on, you have to let them out. I had to wait for them to come in. I obviously needed a wee in this time.
So your adrenaline's come on now.
Oh, God. And then
adrenaline
everything
and the
just took
cortisol
too long.
and all of that's going through your
And in my
body.
head, I'm like, well, I'm not getting back to sleep now, am I? I'm not getting back to sleep now. So I'd already decided in my head, and this is 3 o'clock in the morning, by the way.
It was 3:03 according to your memoir.
I wasn't getting back to
the memoir that
the
you sent
memoir I
me.
wrote that night. I wasn't going back to sleep. They came in, had to clean their paws. Anyway, put them back up to bed, and I was like, I'm just going to go and sleep on the sofa. I couldn't obviously sleep, I'm too wired. I ended up tidying the living room because I decided that it was disgusting, and how could I possibly relax in this pigsty of a living room with dog toys and stuff all about. So I tidied that up angrily and muttering to myself. Then I decided to write a chapter of my memoir. I don't have a memoir, I just decided I was going to start it there and then. But it was basically just so I could send it to you in the morning so you could feel my pain. Anyway, so I managed to get another sort of hour or so before the morning. Obviously woke up in the state that you have been this week, where you're in a terrible way. My emotions were all over the place. And so that next day I was trying to function, I was trying to work, and the dogs had, like, we've got a dog flap, so they'd gone out into the garden, they'd come back in muddy, they'd run all this mud up the stairs. I'm in the middle of work, I've got a call in a minute, I'm trying to sort them out. And as I'm coming down the stairs, I'm trying to catch one of the dogs who now thinks it's a game and is running away from me. I was like, right, come back, like that. I've got the towel, I'm trying to wipe him off. And this scream that you hear at the beginning of this podcast left my body. And I was at the top of the stairs, and it was in that moment of time where it was either let out this kind of primal scream, and I honestly don't know where it came from, but it just came out my body.
Do you think it was either let out that scream
or throw myself down the stairs? Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
Hell to the air, because that's where you get to.
It goes deep.
Yes.
Like, jokes aside, it goes dark and it goes deep.
Yeah.
When that moment, like we've said, you've completely lost yourself as a person in that moment.
Yes.
What have you become and how have you got
That's
to that?
it. And really, when you look at that situation, it really isn't that big a deal. It's not that big a deal. The mud can be cleared up. In that moment, it was everything to me because of the lack of sleep. And I think I'd gone a few days, like you have this week. It had been prolonged. So I'd had a few days of the nights where it's waking up, overthinking, all the rest of it, trying to function.
You feel quite alone as well, don't you?
Yeah, in that, absolutely. And because I was here alone as well, as I am, most days. And yeah, and it just, so this primal scream came out my body, and it happened to get picked up on my cameras at home. So that's why we've used it, because on the intro of the podcast, because
it's the epitome, isn't it, of how we feel and how we may be making an assumption, but from people that I've spoken to and like-minded women that I know, we've all got there.
Yeah.
That scream may have been internal and it may not be captured on a video and it may be not something you can share, but we've all got to that point where if you don't have that internal or external scream, you're frightening yourself that you don't quite know what you're going to do next.
Yeah. Because
it's a lot.
Absolutely. I could see, things in life could go very, very wrong when you're in those moments. Like, I could have thrown myself down the stairs, but I didn't. So the scream came out. And so I think that was like the epitome. And the funny thing was, that day when my husband came back home from work and I told him, I was like, I let out this scream. I was like, I wonder if the cameras picked it up. So we sat there, we went back, and I heard it, and I just went into hysterical laughter, right? He got really upset because this isn't his wife isn't this person that does that sort of thing. And he took it as, oh my God, like that's, there's this woman on the edge. He goes, that's a woman like totally on the edge and breaking down. I thought it was hilarious. I sent it to you, or I played it to you when you go around, and you also thought it was hilarious. And I was trying to explain this to him. I was like, I know it's bad, and in that moment it was really bad. But I think because we both know exactly where that scream came from.
Do you mean like when I've got into your car and I've let out that exact same noise just for a moment?
Yeah.
No words are spoken.
Because you could.
Nothing gets said.
That was it. And like, because I was at home, that's probably why it came out. When you've got to hold this in if you work in an office, or I know people that do school runs or whatever. Yeah. You can't do, you couldn't do that as a child, like to your child. I done it to my dog. Poor thing, he was terrified afterwards after I let out the primal scream. But
there are probably mothers that have though. Like, it's just
no judgment here. I totally get it.
Life gets too much.
It does.
For that minute, you just want anyone and everything that's around you that needs something from you when you've got nothing left to give. just go. Just know there's nothing left.
That's
nothing left.
That's it. I think we've just all been there, haven't we? So whilst we found it hilarious and we were like, we've got to put this on the intro, we've got to put this on the intro for our podcast, because it sums everything up in that one screen.
It does sum everything up. But do you remember, like, pre-Peri, where we are now, we used to, like, we always get together once a week. It's an absolute, like, non-negotiable thing that we've always done for the entire time we've been friends. And if it's like summertime, for example, and we go for what? Do you remember you'd be like, what do you want to do this evening? And I'd be like, can we just go and scream at the sea? Do you remember we were like, this thing?
We did, yeah.
We'd have this thing where we would say, let's just go and scream at the sea. So we'd go for a little walk down by the beach and we would scream at the sea.
Yeah.
Because, like, just to let all of those life frustrations
let it go.
out. Because everyone's got frustrations.
Yeah.
Even if you're not in this kind of world that we're in right now, we have frustrations prior to this. And we will have frustrations when we come out the other side of this. So we'd go and scream at the sea. And then probably be all right after that, because it would be just that moment. But when you're in where we are right now, whilst we always say to each other to help each other, it's only temporary, it will pass. You're going to feel like this for a couple of days, but just bear in mind, you're not going to feel like this every day.
That's it. And eventually you are going to sleep or, you know.
Which we know.
Yeah.
But I think the problem is, or the challenge is when you get to this point, is whilst it's only temporary, it's temporary very frequently, once a month, for example. And I think that's
You're right.
the thing where you just get yourself into a place where you're like, do you know what? I'm calm, I'm happy, I'm focused, everything's fine, like life's great. Like, what's the problem? Thank God that's over. And then the next minute, when it comes looming back, you're just like, here it comes again. Oh no, not again.
Yeah.
Please, not again. And it's like, how many times is that going to go on repeat? Is this going to be for 5 years, 10 years? Like, what happens
where
over
does
the
it
other
end?
side? Yeah. Where does it end? And
We're going to find out. We're going to find out.
We are going to find out. We are going to find out.
If we
And
don't
it
throw
will.
ourselves down the stairs,
Well,
obviously.
hopefully not, because no. I can't imagine the bruises. I bruise so easily now.
You do,
I found
yes.
a bruise on my knee.
And you don't remember where it's from?
I have no idea where it came from.
Yeah, I get that all the time. Bruise
know
like a
where it's come
peach.
from.
Yeah. Does your skin get thinner at this age? Like,
I don't know,
is this
it
when it
must do.
starts?
Maybe it does. I don't know. Your body changes, doesn't it? That's another
Probably.
episode all in
We'll
itself,
add that.
isn't it? Let's be honest with you. Your body does
Add that
change.
to the list. Why don't
there's
you?
There's a massive list here, guys. And any of you that are listening, if you've got any kind of topics that you kind of want to discuss or get off your chest, then we're happy to talk
Absolutely.
about
It's
anything.
all up for discussion, isn't it?
It's
at the
all
end
up
of
for
the day?
discussion. It's all out there.
Is there anything that you do to help you get to sleep?
So for me, there's certain things that I try and do, and again, this is all very subjective and individual. I do take magnesium.
Yeah,
There's so
I
much
take that.
information out there, isn't there? But I personally, I do take magnesium. I take magnesium and zinc, and what I find
You
is
take
that
it at
helps me.
night, don't you? And I never remember to do it at night. Like,
Yeah.
do you think is it bad to do it in the day?
It's better to do it at night time. It's probably
'Cause
it's
does it
probably
make you
better. It's a little bit of
tired?
relaxy thing. So why just take it at night time?
Yeah.
Put it by your toothbrush, whatever, because you're not going to remember it by yourself, are you? So I take magnesium at night time. I go to sleep. I take magnesium. I know that the wrong thing to do is they say don't have blue light, don't scroll on your phone, all this sort of stuff. And I know that's what a lot of people say don't do. But I think what I have to, whatever I do before I go to bed has to be something that takes my mind completely off of the day to day. So current state, watch Love Island All Stars. That's where I go. Sometimes I start falling asleep as I'm watching it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't, but I have to have like occupied myself. Take my magnesium, try and like, I don't know, I try and keep my bedroom cool. I don't know,
I've been doing the CBD.
Have you?
So my sister got me these sleep drops of CBD for Christmas, and I think it's got like lavender and like orange blossom or something like that, or chamomile or something. And and I don't know if it's a mental thing where I feel like I have to take it every night now, and if I don't, it's
like a
almost like
placebo, isn't it?
Yeah, and like my brain almost goes, well, you're probably not going to go to sleep now.
That's it.
You're
You
not
have
gonna go
this
to
chat with
sleep.
yourself, which is
Yeah,
really
so I don't know if
detrimental.
it's that that's helping me, or if it's the sort of mental thing, the placebo thing. But it helps. But look, you're still going to wake up with a night
Everyone's
sweat. If you're having a
different.
night sweat, you're still going to wake up. If your cat, dog, child, husband decides to wake you up, you're going to be woken up, aren't you? And then
I think
it's all
that's
about that getting back to sleep thing, isn't it?
100% where we're at. I think there's so many things that, like we've said, we're not here to offer medical advice or guidance. That's not where we're at. There's all this information online. Do this, do that, don't do this, don't do that to the sleep. But ultimately, if you're not sleeping, you're not sleeping. If you're waking in the middle of the night, you are. It's kind of like, how do we deal with it in the moment? Because in the moment, you can't think about all those things that you've seen on socials or what you've seen on the TV or read in a book. That isn't, you can't correlate with that at that point in time.
Yeah.
It's just like, what the bloody hell can I do right now to go back to sleep?
Other than thinking about things in the past that don't matter, over planning your day, worrying, although it's difficult to get it out of your mind, isn't it?
Absolutely.
But look, you're here. You survived the week. Well done, because I know it's not easy. Here to record another episode.
Absolutely.
That's
We've
an
lived to survive
achievement,
another
right?
day.
Yeah.
Absolutely right. Here we are. This is where we are, once a week. Join in.
Okay, well, that ends us for today. Have a great week, everybody. See you on the next one, and oink, oink.
Indeed.